Ray Dan HD, can you please show me some proof the inflation of deportation numbers during Barack Obama's presidency you mentioned last week? You said that ISIS added normal police approach to deportation numbers. Wait, what? ISIS? Can you shed some light on the topic for me? High deportation figures are misleading. Immigration activists have sharply criticized President Obama for a rising volume of deportations, labeling the deporter in chief and staging large protests that have harmed his standing with some Latinos, a key group of voters for Democrats. But the portrait of a steadily increasing number of deportations rests on a statistic that conceal almost as much as they disclose. A closer examination shows that immigrants living illegally in most of the continental U.S. are less likely to be deported today than before Obama came to office, according to immigration data. Expulsions of people who are settled and working in the United States have fallen steadily since his first year in office and are down more than 40% since 2009. On the other side of the ledger, the number of people deported at or near the border has gone up, primarily as a result of changing who gets counted in the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency deportation statistics. The vast majority of those border crosses would not have been treated as formal deportations under most previous administrations. If all removals were tallied, the total sent back to Mexico each year would have been far higher under those previous administrations than it is now. Now, I know it's a 2014 article. Guys, that's why I told you this is under the Obama administration. Under the Obama administration, they changed the deportation protocols, or at least the way that they calculate all deportations. Remember, that's what the chatter is asking me about. Because when I was talking to Jordan Yule yesterday, I mentioned this. Or not yesterday, 2 days ago. Until recent years, most people caught illegally crossing the southern border were simply bussed back into Mexico in what officials call voluntary returns, which critics derisively termed catch and release. Those removals, which during the 1990s reached more than 1 million a year and were not counted in the Immigration and Customs Enforcement's deportation statistics. Now, the vast majority of border crossers who are apprehended get fingerprinted and formally deported. The change began during the George W. Bush administration and accelerated under Obama. The policy stemmed in part from a desire to ensure that people who had crossed into the country illegally would have formal charges in their records. I don't know why he keeps saying like a 2014 article when the question was about what the difference was in the Obama administration. I hope this was a little bit more descriptive, my friend. Thank you very much. This was what I was looking for. Here's the article. You can here, I'll copy paste it in the chat too if you want to read it yourself. I mean, this is just one of many articles, but so this is also at the heart of why our Latino outreach strategy has been hurt a little bit. Like, people still remember this stuff. I mean, this is stuff that I personally criticize as well under the Obama administration. So yeah, this is something that you need to remind yourself. Regardless, though, Obama's deportations were still pretty fucking high. It doesn't matter. Deportation of people apprehended in the interior of the U.S., which immigration defines as more than 100 miles from the border, dropped from 2,000. I mean, this is also massaging the numbers a little bit. This is also massaging the numbers because 100 miles from the border. Okay, well, what about 100 miles within the border? So, like what? That's 100 miles from the border is still considered a constitutional free zone by the ACLU. So that's Portland. That's Los Angeles. That's fucking Texas. You know, these are all these places where like they're still deporting people nonstop. So the Obama administration is still fucking deported a shitload. Understand me? Yeah. 2/3 of Americans live within 100 miles of the border. Or the sea. Why would you not deport people who enter your borders illegally? Because I think it's inhumane. I think it's cruel. It's unusual. I think it's inhumane. And a big reason why we do this is because a big reason why we have so many people come in here is because we allow them to. We rely on them. That's a huge part of our our agricultural production. As a matter of fact, it's literally built in. Like, it's built into our economy. It's pretty disgusting that we just deport these people after relying on them for our agricultural production for so long. Anyway, we're supposed to be doing fun day, but there's a lot here. I don't know. I want to move away from sleeper shit. A lot of this is kind of sleeper. Fun day, stun day, Sunday, stun day. Should every country allow illegal immigrants in through their borders? I think there should be no such thing as an illegal immigrant. I think that go back to your country from 20 candy to 50 candy, GG. Okay, well, I'm sorry that you celebrated me and one celebrated my growth, but I'm going to ban you for that. You support completely open borders? I think completely open borders is a nonsensical position. I think that what we should do is treat every single person that wants to come in here with respect and document them and allow them to come here. Of course, there are exceptions to this. If you're like a fucking serial killer or some shit and you're trying to come in to the country, well then, yeah, unless you've served your time and you're fully rehabilitated and reformed, yeah, I think that's an understandable person not to allow into the borders. As a matter of fact, you should probably catch that person when they tried to come in and collaborate with the host nation, the respective nation that that person is from, to ensure that justice is served. How would you deal with limited resources in country like jobs? Well, that's not a real thing. There is no limited labor pool. It's a totally made up concept. I think it was debunked in like 1817 or something. Like it's one of the oldest the lump sum of labor fallacy. It's literally a fallacy from like the 18th century. There is no such thing as a lump sum of labor. Labor is infinite. Like there is infinite demand for labor. Here is the 19th century. Sorry. Here is the perfect example of this. If more people come into the country, that means you need to build more homes for them. You need to build more infrastructure for them. And that means you need more jobs for those people. That means more jobs. More buildings, more homes, more jobs, more energy, more jobs, more cars, more jobs. There's no such thing. Like Republicans make it up. They just lie about it. Now, they change the goalpost and they'll say, well, what about low skilled labor? It was debunked in 1891. Yes. Republicans are still running on and relying on an outdated understanding of macroeconomics that was debunked in 1891. More jobs, less pay. Your takes are fucking stupid when you don't play games. More jobs, less pay. What? Why would that? Dude, don't even fucking. Obama's Secure Communities Act enabled local PDs to collab with ICE and drastically increase deportation numbers. He repealed it in 2011 after being pressured by activists. So, Obama constantly did the give and take, which is what I'm frustrated by. I see what you're talking about. Isn't there such a thing as unsustainable growth or exhaustion of resources in space? The entire population of the country currently could be fucking fit inside of the state of Texas if the same population density of New York City existed in the state of Texas. So No, I don't think we're going to be running out of fucking space anytime soon. Have you been to Oklahoma? People that say this shit to me, I'm always reminded that like so many people have just never been to like the heartland or have never been to like Oklahoma or Kansas or so many parts of this country. Guys, Oklahoma is a great example of this because it's so fucking resource rich and so wealthy as a consequence of that with an incredible amount of income inequality. So in an effort to drive up the sex appeal of Oklahoma, that these oil barons, they've tried to make Oklahoma City into this like beautiful downtown area that you would see anywhere around the country in a metropolitan area. If you've ever been to Oklahoma City, you know that that's what it looks like. It literally, there's like whiskey bars. There's like these cool fucking European style shipping containers that you can like eat inside of and shit. Except it also looks like a fucking zombie apocalypse because no one, and I mean no one, wants to live in fucking Oklahoma. Even people from Oklahoma don't want to live there. Why is there so much insane real estate out there and it's just basically fucking empty? And people are saying brick down. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. There's whiskey bars. There's cool ass fucking like vegan southern barbecue places and shit. They have it all, but no one wants to live there. They even have